If you've ever wondered what happens when you need to cancel a real estate wholesaling contract, this video is about to go in depth and I'm about to go do it right now. So for those of you who have been to the channel before, welcome back. And if you're new here, this is where I document my real estate investing journey and bring you guys along with me. So my name is Lili and I started this journey by house hacking a duplex. I'm actually sitting outside of it right now. And now I've started to build out my wholesaling and investing business in those other ways. So if you want to know more about house hacking and you want to know all the things I had to do today just to manage tenants and make sure the property is in good shape, definitely check out this video. But for the rest of the day, I have to deal with a real estate contract that I need to cancel, and I need to go pick up my earnest money check so that I don't lose that money. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to get on the road. You guys hit the like button and let's get started. So first things first, what is wholesaling real estate? At the basics, it's being a middleman, a problem solver, whatever you want to call it. But you get a property under contract for one price that you and the seller agree on, and then you find a cash buyer, an investor, to buy that property from you for another price. Now, there may be some of you that are thinking right now, like, is that legal? Why the heck would a seller sell it to you for less than a cash buyer would be willing to pay? Why would a cash buyer buy it from you for more than a seller would be willing to pay? These are all good questions, and I have other videos that I'll link to in the description talking more about them. But just to answer the basic question of why wholesaling works and why it's a very useful position to be in the real estate investing, I guess, system, is that sellers don't always know someone who has the cash to purchase their property, especially if it's in distressed condition, which is usually the type of property that you're going to be wholesaling. They also might need cash quickly, and so they don't have the time to go find someone to buy it from them. You've reached out to them and given them this opportunity to get this property off their hands for the amount of cash that you're offering. And that's usually something, if they say yes, it's because you're solving, a problem for them. On the other hand, with a cash buyer, if they're flipping properties and that's what they're doing with most of their time, they may not want to, also I don't know how shaky the camera is, but they may not want to spend the time and energy needed to actually go out and find those deals. So with you being the deal finder for them, they're more than willing to pay you a finder's fee if you bring them a good deal. And it all makes sense financially with where the property is and the type of condition that the property's in. So that's kind of a really brief overview of what wholesaling is and why everyone can leave a wholesaling deal happy. You don't have to trick anyone. You don't have to do anything unethical. Are there people out there that do it in ways that may not sit well with you? Absolutely. But you're in charge of how you run your business, and you can absolutely make it a win-win-win for all parties involved. But unfortunately, and like today, that's not what's happening. I have a property under contract that I'm actually not going to be able to follow through with and have a cash buyer step in and purchase this property. And it's not because I couldn't find a cash buyer. I actually have multiple cash buyers interested in this property, but the problem is the property is in even worse condition than we anticipated, and the seller doesn't want to drop the price anymore. And so to give you guys a little bit more background about this property, it had been sitting on the market for a very long time, for multiple months. And so I kept reaching out to the real estate agent and making an offer that I thought would make sense for myself and for my cash investors. And the sellers kept turning it down, kept turning it down, kept turning it down. And eventually the real estate agent and I got to a place where I was like, hey, look, I think there's structural issues based on some cracking that we could see from the door frames and some even uneven floors when we walked through the property. I thought there were structural issues. The sellers did not think that there were structural issues. And so what we ended up doing was going under contract at a price that would work for everyone if there were no structural issues. And because of that, I told them, hey, I need a 10-day inspection period to actually make sure that there are no structural issues. And during that time, because you're the homeowner, you can request a free quote from some local structural engineering companies. You can request a free quote and they'll tell you if there are structural issues or not. So we went under contract. I had 10 days to see if there were structural issues, let my cash buyer see the property, and the sellers actually called up the structural company, and they came out and gave us a free quote. Lo and behold, there are structural issues. And I told them, hey, I'm still interested in the property. I don't want to cancel, but there's $20,000 worth of structural damage. We need a $20,000 price reduction. And at that point, the seller said no. They said they would go back on market and see if someone else would buy it for more than what I'm willing to do. So unfortunately, this deal isn't going to go through because the pricing isn't right. And so if that happens to you for some reason during your inspection period, and I always ask for like a 10-day inspection period. And if you want to know how I write that up and how I present those terms to the real estate agent or to the seller, you can check out the offer sheet that I have in my description. It's a free template. You can download it. Just use that link to head over to my website and grab it. And it'll show you where exactly I write in what length of time I want to have for my inspection period. So the first thing is you need to know during your inspection period that you want to cancel. If the pricing isn't right, if you can't find cash buyers, for whatever reason you need to cancel, you need to know that during your inspection period. Reason being, most times with most contracts, you will have put down something called earnest money. And during your inspection period is the only time you can cancel the contract and still get your earnest money back. If you want to see like a full deep dive on earnest money and inspection periods, definitely check out this video right here because I go much more in depth. But the basics are that for this deal, I put down $500 of earnest money when we signed the contract. That means we sent the contract to the title company. I sent the title company $500. Now, within my 10-day window, when I have the right to cancel, when I cancel the contract, the title company gives me back my earnest money. If I had waited past those 10 days and I tried to cancel on the 11th, 12th, 13th day, the title company has every right when I cancel to give my earnest money to the seller because basically I wasted their time and I violated our contract. So the first thing you need to know if you're going to cancel a contract is that when is your inspection period over, and get your cancellation contract to the title company before that time period is up. If you don't know what contracts to use, you can also check out the link in my bio and see what contracts I use. Now, once I do that, once I cancel the contract, the next thing to do, what I'm going to do right now, is to actually go to the title company and pick up my earnest money check so I can put that money back in my account and use it for future deals.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, I'm looking for you.
I'm picking up an earnest money check.
Oh, okay.
Last name Thompson.
Here you go.
All right. Thank you very much. You have a good
Bye.
one.
For you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there we go. Got my money back. I'm never afraid of losing my earnest money because I know that if the deal doesn't work out, I will just cancel it before my inspection period is up and I'll get my earnest money back. And so I don't want you to be afraid of getting something under contract because you think you're going to lose your earnest money. But what I do want to caution against is getting stuff under contract before you're ready, before you actually know what you're doing. And you end up canceling deals and backing out on sellers simply because you did your numbers wrong or you couldn't find a cash buyer. That just, I think, is part of what gives wholesalers a bad name, is when people will try to keep extending their inspection period to keep trying to find a buyer, and they're not telling the seller that it's because they need to find a buyer. They're telling them, whatever reasons that they make up. And then the seller misses out on selling to someone else who was actually going to close on the deal, or you put a bad taste in their mouth or in the real estate agent's mouth, and then they don't want to work with you anymore. So don't be afraid of needing to cancel for a legitimate reason, but don't get bad deals under contract because you're offering far too much or just because you're really not sure what you're doing yet, and then kind of rely on canceling at the last minute, because that can have a negative impact on people. So this situation, the sellers knew from the jump that if there were structural issues, then we were going to ask for a price reduction or end up canceling. So no one really got hurt in this situation, or no one had a negative outcome. It just didn't work out, but we were all, open and honest about why we needed to cancel. So that's my best advice for you guys. Also, one reason that I actually go pick up the check from the title company rather than having them wire it directly to my bank account is because there's usually a fee of like $20, $30 something dollars for them to wire it. And I don't want to get back like $480 when I put down $500. That's just my opinion. I'm already going to be out picking up some groceries, so I might as well go stop by the title company and get the full check. Communicate with your title company about when your check is going to be ready for you. Usually once I send in the cancellation contract, within a day or two, they'll message me back and say, hey, we have your check at the front desk, and then I can just go pick it up. If you're new to wholesaling and you're not sure yet how to make sure you get all of those pieces in place before you actually get properties under contract, I have a ton of videos on this channel that talk about it. And if you want to learn from me directly, check out the link in my bio. You can come to my 5-day beginners bootcamp, which is hosted live on Zoom. We get on there with a small group of people and really just lay out the steps and walk you through what you need to do to get ready to make those offers, get past analysis paralysis, and make sure that you're doing the things the right way. So it's a small group of people that get to come to those, and once the sessions are full, they're full. But if you want to check out the link in the bio to see if there's spots left in the next one, please do. Hopefully this video has helped you understand what happens when you cancel a contract. If you guys have questions, leave them in the description below. Every Wednesday on Instagram Live at 6:20, I have a live Q&A session, so go follow me at Lili Invest on Instagram, and I'll be answering questions that you guys leave in the comments. Until next time, definitely check out this video right here. I post videos 3 times a week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.